Hi guys. So, some of you may have or not noticed that I've been off of auction for a week already. I've got another week. It's my plan. I don't know how well that plan's going to work because there's still so much to do. So I took time off to get some rummage sales set up and, drag a bunch of stuff from the basement upstairs that just needed to get out of the house. We had the rummage sale for 3 days. Mom and I marked stuff for like 3 days. Donnie brought stuff over from the storage units, and we did the best I could. We were working probably, I think it ended up being like almost 10-hour days, or maybe even 12, because we did Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was up by 6 a.m. We were set up by 8, and then we didn't get done until 5, and then we pulled everything down. Sunday we quit a little bit earlier than that, but not by much, because we had to pack everything in there well enough to get it stored for next weekend. So again, I know I posted a community report that your packages have been delayed. I know I haven't even got everybody invoiced yet, and I hate to invoice because I know I didn't get packages out right away, so I'm trying to work on the ones that do have invoices. And I've told several other people, but I'm struggling, and it's like you're almost paralyzed when you have so much on your plate, and then things just keep adding up that you just, when you finally sit down for the night, you can't get up to do anymore. Like you're just paralyzed in your chair and overwhelmed with all the feelings and all the thoughts and the emotions, and like the know that you need to go be doing something, and the knowledge that you physically can't. Like, you're paralyzed to that chair and you can't get up because your mind won't let you, your brain won't let you, your body just says no. And yeah, so I've been struggling, and I want to be honest with you guys so you know where I'm at. For those of you that may or may not be newer, my dad got sick back in January, right after my mom broke her ulna. So she broke the small thin bone, not on me of course, but the small thin bone in her arm, and 8 months later it has yet to heal. So she cannot lift any more than 2 pounds. She's not supposed to. She still does, but she's not supposed to. That's probably why it's not healed yet. So I am grocery shopping for them. But on top of that, Dad got sick. Spent 2.5 months, almost 3 months in the hospital and the rehab center. He has liver cirrhosis of non-fatty liver disease. Fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic liver cirrhosis. It's a mouthful. But anyway, he's struggling with the food that he's eating. He was a salt person. Like, everything had salt on it. Everything had a hot sauce on it. Everything, and he was a big man. He was a big man before he started getting sicker. 300 pounds, 6 foot, 300 pounds. They became increasingly worried when he started gaining 5-10 pounds a week. And when they finally took him to the hospital, he was over 400. So, he finally did get out of the hospital. He lost over 100 pounds. He's currently sitting right now at 285. During the whole week we were working on the rummage sale, he was coughing and he was not feeling good. His throat hurt. He couldn't eat. So we did take him to the doctor yesterday. It turns out to be just viral, but I mean, he was not feeling good, and you can tell when you look at him that he wasn't feeling good. He was in pain. His back hurts. And you can still tell that he has edema in his legs from the cirrhosis. So his legs are as big as mine, which is scary, but they're this thick, and your fingers they sink right into them. So Mom's been helping, or trying to help, put his socks on, put his wraps around his legs, if they do that day. But anyway, so I'm taking care of my mom and dad. Donnie and I we mow the lawns, and we take care of the groceries, and Mom goes with me a lot of the times because we're trying to, get the lower sodium things, get the lower sugar things for Dad for food. Unfortunately, he's not eating the way he's supposed to. Hi, Dad. So he could be eating a lot better, and he'd probably be losing more weight, but he hasn't been. So there's that part, Mom and Dad. So if you hear me talk about Mom or Dad, or if I have to go to the grocery store or whatever, that's what I'm talking about. I've got to go do that. So then, since school started, I get up at 6:15, 6:30 if I go to bed. Well, since I've been off, I've been going to bed. But I get up at 6:30, get the kids ready, get them ready for school. The 3 little ones go to elementary. Michael goes to junior high, or middle school, I guess. Middle school. And so I drop them off at 7:30. I go to the middle school, and I get done with that whole route. Probably takes me 45 minutes. And then I go home. Today I woke up starving, which I don't normally do, but I woke up starving, so I did eat this morning. And that's something I'll touch on too, is I'm trying to do the carnivore. I'm scared about my health, and that's hard for me to tell you guys, but there's a lot of health issues, and some of you guys know that I have EDS, and I have thyroid condition, and I have there's some other things, but currently before I started, was sitting at 310. I have never, even with all my pregnancies, been that high. It's absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, so I drop them off, I go home. During auction, I was sleeping between 9 and 2:15 maybe, and then I have to go get the kids. So 2:45 I have to be by school, and then I get them, drop them off. They get their snacks, everything else. School clothes ready for tomorrow, and then I go get Michael. And this is what I'm doing, is I'm sitting in front of the middle school right now, waiting for Michael. He gets out in another 20 minutes. So I spend an hour or 45 minutes just sitting here waiting for him, because to get a parking spot, and I don't know. It's just easier. I don't know what we'll do in the winter. I guess we'll see. Right now my car is on because it's like almost 90 something degrees out, and it's hot, and the cicadas are really, really loud. I tried to put the windows down and shut off the car, but it was too loud. So, but then pick up Michael. If we're lucky, we're home by 4 o'clock, maybe 4:15. And then I would really like to go downstairs and work and do what I have to do, but it's already 4:15, and then I got to get supper ready. I get supper ready, which for 4 kids and all these different palettes, and everybody wants something different, and usually Daisy is the one that just drives the nail. If everybody says hot dog, she will say hamburger. If everybody says taco, she will say barbecue. I mean, it's like, she didn't eat last night because she didn't want to eat bratwurst. Okay. She didn't complain. She just stayed in her room and she didn't complain. So, but yeah, that's been my days. So then On a normal auction week, I would get supper ready, and then I would, if what I made for the kids is what I was eating, then I would eat right away. If not, then I would make a separate meal, because with the carnivore, I'm supposed to only have meat. So that takes longer, takes more time. If I'm lucky, I get downstairs by 7 o'clock, and then I have a few hours before we go to auction. And then I'm on auction for 5 hours. Between 3 and 5 hours. So that's like my typical day. And that's not accounting for sleep. So if I get done at 1:30, 2 o'clock, depending on, and if I eat afterwards, it's like I can get a 3-hour nap in, and then I'll get a nap in between dropping off the kids. I'm not sure that's sustainable, and I'm still debating that. So that's where I'm at. But the thing I wanted to ask you guys, I know I'm pausing. Is how do you explain to your kids that you can't eat certain things because you're overweight, because you're trying to lose weight, because you're unhealthy, and then how do you do that without making them feel guilty for what they're eating? Not that they would, I mean, maybe some of them, maybe 1 out of the 4 would say, oh, I shouldn't eat this anymore. But Donnie went to the store on Saturday while we were doing the rummage sale and brought home a huge like I don't know, restaurant style Rice Krispie bar that was all cut up, like a Costco one, you know, like just huge. So it was all cut up and ready to go, and mind you, we got it from the salvage store, or the dented can store, whatever you guys call it. A lot of the times that's where we're shopping because that's what we can afford. But we manage, you know, it's a huge discount for the stuff that we get, and we're grateful for that. But he got the Rice Krispie bar treat for the kids, and then he brought home a cheesecake wheel. It had like 4 different kinds of cheesecake, so there was 12 pieces, and then a whole bunch of candy bars, which is for the kids and for him, and I can go without the candy bars, and I could smell the Rice Krispies when I cut them up to give them to the kids for lunch. And Saturday and Sunday, the cheesecake didn't bother me. It was in there, they ate it, it didn't bother me. For some reason, last night, all I could do was think about the cheesecake that was in the refrigerator. The Rice Krispie bars that were in the Tupperware container on the counter. I had sausages that I could eat. I had hamburgers that I could eat. I even had steak in there that I could have cooked if I was hungry. But my brain would not stop. It wouldn't stop. So I went in the bedroom and I put on the football game. We have an antenna in our room. And I put on the football game. And I was going to fold clothes to keep me busy. And then Dawn wanted to go to bed early. And I'm like, okay, fine. I just wanted to like seclude myself from the kids because I knew that I was struggling. And Michael came in to get his clothes for the morning. He had forgot socks and underwear, and so he was getting his clothes ready. And he's like, Mom, are you okay? Because my voice was cracking like it is now. He said, Mom, are you okay? And he has autism, so sometimes he is more tuned into emotionals, and sometimes he's not, and sometimes he doesn't get it at all. But today he was. He said, "Are you okay, Mom? Mom, what's wrong with your voice? Mom, are you okay? Mom, why are you crying?" And I couldn't tell him. I couldn't even talk. I just kept telling him I was okay. That I'd be okay, and I was okay. And just, tried to help him get his clothes and make sure everybody got to bed. We turned off the lights, and I just knew that if I didn't go to bed at 8:15, mind you, 8:15 when I'm used to going to bed at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, that I was going to go in there and eat that cheesecake that I did not need. Part of me knows that it's an addiction. Like, food is an addiction. They have made food an addiction. Part of me feels like just absolutely horrified that my brain would not shut off. How do you tell your kids you have an addiction to food? You have an addiction to sugar. I got the kids Smileys. They're like little, I don't know, sundaes from, not sundaes, they're like little smoothies, fruit smoothies from Scooters, which is another coffee place here. And I got my mom like a Frappuccino, kind of a coffee drink. And she's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't have to get one. I didn't have to get one. I know you're not doing one." And I'm like, "Well, just let me smell it." That was probably the worst mistake I made, was smelling that coffee. Because I could smell the sugar. Just one whiff, I could smell the sugar, and all my sensories just went like, "Oh no." Like, it almost made me sick. Because I could smell the sugar that well. And I go into the grocery store when we went on Monday, and I could smell the bakery, and it was driving me absolutely insane. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. This. So I'm sure that didn't help, because I went grocery shopping, and got the kids things, because you gotta have your kids. Yeah, I'm not gonna take away from them because of what I need, but I didn't know how to tell him that I couldn't have sugar, and all I wanted was the sugar. It's like any other addiction. Like, Donnie quit drinking. And for those of you who don't know, that Donnie is my man. We're not married, but we've been together for 13 years. We've got 4 kids, and he stopped drinking when Connor was just a year old, so 5 years now he's been sober. But when he did that, he had some of the worst reactions that you can have for withdrawals. So he had the TDs, just the worst you could have them. He had them so badly that he had to be placed into a coma for nine days. And then, for the sake of his health and the sake of our kids, who were 5 and under at the time, he left for 2 months. to get clean and to get off all the other side effects that it does, and to get his blood pressure stabilized. So he was gone 3 months. I just kept thinking last night, over and over and over, like, if I could take 3 months to fix me, to fix like my eating and to eat healthy, and to do that without the pressures of everyday life, I could do it. I know I could. But that's not a reality, because sugar's an addiction, but it's not going to kill you outright. Alcohol will kill you. It's yeah, it's hard. And it's funny because I went to bed and I slept until 6:30 this morning. First thing I thought about was that cheesecake and how fucking ridiculous I was. That I was crying over not being able to have cheesecake or Rice Krispie bars or the candy bars that were in the refrigerator. I never thought eating food was a problem before. I just thought, well, I'm big boned, you know. But then my dad got sick, and I think that's been weighing on me a lot. He's got cirrhosis of the liver, not from alcohol, from fatty liver disease. My dad's also got a genetic marker that predisposes him to getting liver disease faster. He's a carrier of it. And if you would have both genes, you would have other problems with it. But it's like something 51 or A51 something. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, he's a carrier of it. They tested him, and he's a carrier. But it causes all kinds of problems in your body. And it also causes you to get this just faster than you normally would. Now, granted, he's been a big man for most of his life. I mean, he's always had the Santa Claus belly. He's always had that. But back when I was having problems during COVID, when I was having problems breathing, I had everything checked out. I had I had a colonoscopy, I had my heart, I had my lungs, I had everything checked out, and they did find signs of fatty liver even back then, and that's been 3 years. And I would check myself even when I was pregnant. They were like, well, are you swelling? Are you retaining water or whatever? And I was like, no. And then after my dad got out of the hospital, I grabbed my leg and my finger sunk into my leg. There's a certain part of my leg, like where the shin bone is. I think the bone on the front of your leg. And I put my fingers in there, and it probably, went in. So there's definitely edema in my legs, and not to mention that I probably have lipedema, which is, it's not lymphedema, but it's lymphedema. And if you can see it, like my arms, they're like almost cuffing. It's not quite there yet, but my legs do the same thing. My legs are very thick. Thus the 300 pounds. I'm only 5 foot 4.5. My legs are very, very big, and they have been ever since I was young. They've always been the biggest thing on me. My stomach will go away to absolutely, nothing but skin, but my legs are always there. My butt is always there. I joke about my rear end being big, but it's definitely, there is a bubble with my legs. So after my dad's legs swelled up to the point where they were almost bursting open because he put on 100 pounds of fluid, I think it's finally set in that if I don't lose the weight, I'm going to be that way before I'm even, 50. And I just turned 45. And I've tried different things. I've tried Weight Watchers, and I've lost 100 pounds twice. But my heaviest was 265, and that was pregnant. And now I'm at 310. I am on Mirena, which I really want to just get off, but I couldn't take it out because it's supposed to be in there for, I guess, 7 years now instead of 5. So hopefully that'll come out soon. So I don't know if that's I know that they say you gain weight on that, but I've even gained more than the 30 pounds they say you're supposed to gain on that. But I've tried different things, and they don't work, I thought for sure at this big I would be diabetic. Nope, I don't qualify. I'm not diabetic. I have not been diabetic. I was never diabetic when I was pregnant. They keep testing me and I'm not diabetic. I'm always fatigued. I'm always tired. I'm always drinking, but I'm not diabetic. And I want so much to go on like the Ozempic or the Wegovy or whatever that is, because I'm one of those people that need that switch to shut off my brain. And I wouldn't have thought that, these people are like, yeah, it just shuts off that cue, that you don't have those cravings anymore, you don't have those thoughts anymore. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. I never thought I don't know what I thought. I know, I was like, gosh, I really could use that, and I really could lose the weight, and that would be great, but you can't, they won't prescribe it to you unless you're diabetic, or at least my doctor will not. And then my doctor talked about, well, you could go for the gastric bypass. I don't want to have my stomach, like this big for the rest of my life. I don't want to have that. I was terrified, with all these other autoimmune diseases that I have, that something would happen in surgery and then I would be worse off. I don't want that to happen. And then even if I had that, would I be able to stay on it? Would I be able to mentally do what I was supposed to do? And I don't know that I could. Michael's gonna be out of school in a few minutes. And hopefully he won't be able to see that I've been crying. I just want to let you guys know that I love you and I miss you, and I'm working on getting the basement done, because on top of everything else, on top of taking care of my kids and Donnie and the house and my parents and trying to take care of myself, I need to get the basement done so my kids have room to grow and to have their own rooms. And it's like this overwhelming guilt, because I was supposed to have this done 2 years ago and it's still not done. Lots of guilt. Lots of anger. Lots of disappointment. Yeah. I struggle on whether to try to find a different job. Try to just maybe list more on eBay, and then I could sleep normal hours and maybe accomplish more. I don't know. I keep throwing it back and forth in my head, and I don't know. I've been doing it for so long that it's hard to walk away from anything, and I just know that I need to get it done. And Donnie can't. It's just a lot of guilt, because like he works 10-hour days, 4 days a week, and it's hard for me not to be the one to make supper and do all that stuff. You know, there are some days when I just can't move, because with the EDS, I wake up and I physically am not able to do stairs or you know, do things. So I'm limited. But on the other days, I feel guilty because he shouldn't have to come home and cook supper when I've been home. And he shouldn't have to come home and help me lift boxes and move stuff when he's been working all day. And he can't really help me because I have such a mess downstairs, and it's not organized, and it's absolute chaos, that when he does come down to move things, I can't find anything. And that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I can apologize to you guys, and I can apologize to him, and it just needs to get fixed. It needs to get fixed. But there's only one of me. There's 4 kids, 2 parents, and Donnie, and a house that desperately needs to be cleaned. I can keep up with dishes and laundry. I try. I try. It's a lot. Six people in one house, and mind you, we have a tiny house, 700 square feet upstairs and 700 downstairs. So all of us are living upstairs in 700 square feet. It's not great. I mean, they're happy. Don't get me wrong. My kids are happy. It's just my guilt that they don't have their own room, and you know, I'm not giving them all the fruits and vegetables and everything else that they should be getting, and you know, maybe, yeah, they need space. And that guilt of me not being able to provide that, or haven't been able to provide that, is definitely overwhelming. So all this to say is, I'm struggling. And I know a lot of you out there are struggling too, health-wise and money-wise and family-wise. And, you know, you're stuck in relationships you don't want to be in. You're stuck in situations you don't want to be in. I understand. I really do. And I feel that. I hope you will understand. I'm working on it. I'm going to work on it every day. As long as you're not in the newspaper, 6 feet under, you've got one more day to live. You got to work on it. I love you guys. And don't worry, I'm okay. I've got my mom and my dad and Donnie and the kids. And I get all my hugs. And I've got friends to talk to. I wanted to let you know where my head was. I have good days and I have bad days. But I will see you guys soon. Hopefully soon. And I just want to let you know I love you. Take care. Bye.